anyways, guys, these games, I'm telling you guys, they're not the greatest games. They're better than what Christmas is going to be. I'm telling you that right now. But with the Miami and Texas A&M game going on at noon for the college football playoff, and we know what's going to happen in the later two college football playoff games, I think these two games are timed very, very well and should be a good way to close out your Saturday. Let's get this thing going. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun NFL. Please like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoy these predictions. This is how I'm giving you guys my takes on the Eagles and Commanders and the Packers and Bears game. This is the first one we'll be going through. As for the first of 3 straight Saturdays, we'll be having double headers on various networks and various times for these games. But as you guys can see, the first of these 2 games here in Week 16 after again the debacle on Thursday night, which we'll probably not talk about for a while. But anyway, Eagles and Commanders here. First game this Saturday, doubleheader on Fox. I think the coverage starts at 4. Whatever though. Eagles are at 9-5. They are a win away from clinching the the NFC East, right? Yeah, there we go. They're going to win the division, guys. We know that. But still, win away. This game would clinch it. Again, last year, if you remember, they came here and lost 36-30 to Jan Daniels, who will not be playing this game because Commanders are 4-10. They've had a really rough year, coming off kind of a morale win over the Giants, 29-21, in which Marcus Mariota had his best passing game of the year. He has been a serviceable backer for them despite them losing a crap ton of games. I think he hasn't won a start. No, he's won at least 1 start. I think maybe 2 this year, something like that. But again, Jan Daniels was shut down for the year a week or 2 ago. Again, it's not really looking. Commanders have had a very disappointing season, but maybe you would have been expecting it considering how volatile their defense was last year and how terrible they've been this year. So, I mean, at least you have that in your backpack for improving next year. But like I said, the Eagles came here last year and lost. So again, you have that in mind. That was an Eagles team that obviously won the Super Bowl this year. They have not been as good. Last week was a very big time get right game against the Raiders. They shut them out at home. It was the shortest game of this season. Again, snapping that 3-game losing streak that saw that offense struggle. They still weren't awesome last week, but again, you're playing the freaking Raiders, so who really cares? Nonetheless, this game will be at 5 o'clock, kicking off the doubleheader on Fox as well as on Fox 1. Again, I don't know why they wanted Fox to have this, but again, they're kind of doing their thing with this. On top of that, the weather for this game, it's going to be 42 degrees. It's going to be 8-mile-per-hour winds. It's also going to be sunny, so pretty good weather for this game. Also, it's pretty good to mention, Eagles with a win would clinch a playoff spot, again, winning the NFC East. And more likely than not, Jesus. So the Bears, they were really tough last 3 weeks. The Eagles already, if you're an Eagles fan right now, you're like, we're going to get the 2 seed at the very least. They're not going to get the 1 seed. Maybe. It's going to be tough for them. I don't think they're getting the 1 seed. 2 seed is very realistic right now if you're an Eagles fan. So again, it's kind of gone best case scenario for you so far. On top of that, though, as you guys can see, the Commanders are already eliminated. Announcing this game, again, will be Joe Davis, Greg Olsen, Pam Oliver, I think if I'm not mistaken, for this one. On top of that, you guys look at Eagles starting lineup. Jalen Hurts is at quarterback. Tanner McKee is the backup. Saquon Barkley is at running back with Tank Bigsby, who had a pretty decent workload last week in garbage time for them. A.J. Brown coming off a pretty decent performance. Devontae Smith caught a bomb. Not going to even get into that. Jahan Dotson there as well at receiver. Dallas Goedert and Grant Calcaterra are their tight ends. Obviously, a lot more of Dallas Goedert there. Offensive line, Lane Johnson's out once again. Fred Johnson will start. He has not been great for them. Tyler Steen and Cam Jurgens are very good run blockers so far this season. Landon Dickerson's had a down year. Jordan Mailata also has had a down year. Defensively, Jalen Carter's not playing this game. Byron Young will probably start this game. Moro Jomo, Jordan Davis are still there, though. Off the edge, you have Jalen Phillips, who's had a monster second half of the season, again, especially again since he's been traded to from Miami. There we go. Nolan Smith Jr. is there. Jalen Suggs kind of falling off a little bit. I don't know what Jahad Campbell's doing off the edge, but they're trying to again include him there. Zach Bond and Kobe Dean. Brandon Graham became the first player in Eagles history, or oldest player in Eagles history to record a sack. He had 2 last week. Secondary is completely healthy. There's not really much to talk about because they are underwhelming, even though Quinyon Mitchell was probably the top 5 corner in football. Jake Elliott's their kicker. Braden Mann is their punter. Both long-time guys. I mean, I think Brandon Mann, he hasn't been here, but he's been in the league since, 2020, maybe. And then, obviously, Jake Elliott's been this guy, their kicker, since maybe 2017, if I'm not mistaken. Then move over to Commanders. And for the Commanders and what they have going on, Marcus Mariota, obviously their starter, Chris Rodriguez Jr., JCM, who had a big bounce back week, and Jeremy McNichols are in the backfield. Terry and Debo are at receiver. They're both coming off decent weeks. Treylon Burks is there again. He had that crazy OBJ catch, highlight of his career. John Bates, Ben Sinnott at tight end. He obviously had the big time catch on third down last week. Laremy Tunsil's out. Brandon Coleman will definitely start. He started for them in the past. The rest of the offensive line is healthy. Sam Cosby's not quite gotten back again off of his injury this season to what he was a couple years ago. Josh Connerly Jr., the rookie's had an up and down year, and then Tyler Biadasz has been a pretty solid center, but again, it's still definitely regressed a little bit over the past couple years. For this defense, they have absolutely nothing going for them. Preston Smith is like, looks like he's like, I think he's like 32 maybe. Yeah, he's 33. He plays like he's 50, which again, it isn't really making enough difference. Their secondary is trash, especially with the injuries. Mike Sanders still has been off and on this year. The rest of this defense is healthy, but they're not great. That's not true. Darren Armstrong's towards ACL. Dietrich Wise has been out basically this entire year. Marshall Lattimore's out for the year. Trey Amos, the rookie, has just not played. Jake Moody, Tress Ware, kicker and punter as well. Now, again, getting close to the end of this, we're looking at how good this game is. For me, considering there's something on the line with it, I still think it's a divisional rivalry. I'm going to put it in decent. There's definitely worse games you could have here in like this non-flexible window. I will say, though, this kind of feels like a, I don't know how to put it. I expect this game to be good, but you look like the Browns and Ravens last year when the Ravens clinched the division. Again, it just kind of feels like that sort of vibe, except, again, the Commanders are a much better team than that Browns team was at the end of last year, so I just wanted to put that out there. Now, for what I'm actually picking in this game, I'm going to say the Eagles win it. Obviously, again, they want to win their freaking division, especially with them going to Buffalo next week. But, again, I expect this game to be actually pretty darn close. I expect Marcus Mariota to have a heck of a game. I'm going to actually say the final score is 27-23, and I'm going to say it's going to be a really crazy finish, and the Eagles are going to barely pull this one out. But that's what I'm hoping to see. Again, realistically, we can definitely pick the Eagles in this one. All I want to see is a competitive football game. Now let's get to our second game, which is big time. And game 2 is doubleheader, otherwise known as the nightcap Saturday primetime game that will definitely overshadow that JMU and Oregon game in the college football playoff. We have the Packers and Bears in a monster NFC North first place bout. Again, pretty crazy that first place battle, not first place battles. There's going to be 3 first place battles in the NFC going on this weekend. I'll give you guys my predictions for the last one. Again, for the Sunday predictions, sometime Saturday, if I had to guess. But anyways, you guys can see we have the Packers and Bears going at it here. Packers 9-4-1 coming off the tough loss that they lost a lot of other a lot more than just again the game as the Broncos knocked them off 34-26. Their defense got embarrassed with 4 touchdowns put on them. But they lost Micah Parsons for the year for the torn ACL. That's the big blow, as they no longer have that go-to elite player on that defense. And now they're going to have to figure things out right here. Especially, that's not going to be good with a guy like Jordan Love, who has really not shown to be able to again step up in these huge moments just yet. But at the same time, you're playing the Bears, so I mean, again, at least you have that. They already beat the Bears back in Week 14 in Lambeau, 20-21, so they have that. Realistically, guys, considering they tied to the Cowboys and gave 40 points to them, the tiebreaker isn't really relevant here because, again, unless the Bears go out and tie games, I really don't see how that's going to be, again, much of an issue here. But for the Bears, they're 10-4. They're coming off a pretty big-time win as they got the double-digit wins versus the Browns last week, blowing them out 31-3 here. It was pretty freaking cold. Not quite as cold, again, this week as it was last week, but still pretty cold here as they come out on a short week, just like the Packers. The thing for them, they aren't coming off a great again, playing against a great team, Jesus. But all I'm saying is, wouldn't hurt for the Rams if the Packers won this game. But they're 10-4. And this is a big one for them, especially considering they haven't really been proven in contender, even though they did go into Philly and beat them by 2 scores. Whatever, though. This game's going to be at 8:20 on Fox, as well as Fox Deportes and Fox 1. Again, that's how you guys can stream it. When the Packers came here last year to Soldier Field, the Bears were really in a kind of a free fall at that point, but that game was absolutely crazy. Packers won that one 2019. Christian Watson made some monster plays. It was just a wild game in a lot of ways, and hopefully we see a similar one here. But again, you look at the weather in Chicago for this game. It's going to be 34 degrees, decent amount of wind at 12 miles per hour, also cloudy, so generous weather for mid-December or late December at this point for this game. Also, guys, we look at the playoff picture for both these teams. The Packers are in the 7th seed with a win. They would, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, again, they would actually stay in the 7th seed because, again, that's just kind of how things work. Bears, though, with a win, if I'm not mistaken, they would move. No, they would still be the 2 seed. So nothing really changes here. It's really a battle for first place because no matter what happens, again, winner of this game is going to be the 2 seed. Loser of this game is going to be the 7th seed. Yeah, it's about that simple. So, Bears, you went from number 1 to number 7, back up to number 2, and you could be right back to number 7. Pretty simple, considering how you guys play this week. But anyway, we look at announcers for this one. It's going to be Fox's number 1 team, Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi. Also, guys, good to mention, our Sunday schedule is going to be a little bit funky with the announcers for Fox, considering they're just kind of doing their own thing with this. Last year, though, they kind of did the same thing, so I'm not going to really harp on it too much, because they did have that, again, Week 16 Saturday game. They only had one, though, because I think NBC had the other one. Whatever, though. Packers starting lineup. You guys can see right here, Jordan Love's at quarterback. Josh Jacobs, Christian Watson are both questionable. Christian Watson had a really bad chest injury last week. He was in the hospital for like a day, if I'm not mistaken. Josh Jacobs being questionable. Emmanuel Wilson's behind him. Chris Brooks is questionable, and Marshall Lloyd hasn't really played at all. Dontavian Wicks is questionable as well, our receiver. So expect a lot of Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden as usual. Luke Musgrave and John Fitzpatrick are our tight end. Josh Wiley's actually gotten out there a little bit, is out. For this offensive line, Zach Thomas questionable as well as Darian Kennard. Both those guys left early, if I'm not mistaken, last week. Anthony Bell and Sean Ryan, Aaron Banks and Rasheed Walker are all good players, though. Elton Jenkins, who's been on this team since like 2019, yeah. I have no idea what happened to him, but whatever. He's probably out for the season. Defensively, Kingsley Anegabari is questionable. Lucas Vaness should be playing over him, even though he's atrocious against the run. Colin Oliver's out. Rashawn Gary's got to really step up. The interior of this defensive line is very questionable in terms of pass rush, but they're going to have to step up as well. Linebackers, all three of them are healthy, but they've been inconsistent the past couple weeks. That's got to change. For this secondary, Evan Williams questionable. Him and Xavier McKinney got to be the best players in the entire league at their positions. The second, and then the cornerbacks are very suspect as well. Brandon McManus, Daniel Woolman are our kicker and punter. Moving over to the Bears and what they have going on. DeAndre Swift is questionable. Kyle Monangai will start if he can't go, obviously, with Travis Homer maybe getting out there. I don't really know. Robert Woods, Luther Burden will not be playing this game, so that means DJ Moore, Alame Zacchaeus, Denver Duvernay are there. It is pretty important that you have depth at receiver. Colson Love at tight end. Colin Clement's questionable. Dermot Smythe is there as well. Offensive line, I mean, I guess it's decent. Yeah, they're pretty good. Joe Tryon's questionable. Dominic Robinson, I guess we'll get the nod again if he doesn't go there. They really have no one else, though. Rest of the defensive line is healthy. The linebackers are somewhat healthy for, again, the injuries that they've sustained this year. And then for the secondary, I mean, they got just kind of their own thing going on here. They've been pretty solid the past couple of weeks. Carlos Santos is their kicker. Torrey Taylor is their punter. And for this game, I would be a moron not to put it in game of the week. It's the second best game we have all week, so that's what we have going on here. If I can find the Bears somewhere, someplace, there we go. They're going to go right next to here, and now I'm going to pick this one. Who do I have winning this game? Packers, again, being injured to hell and back, are not really in good spots to beat a Bears team that they barely beat back in Week 14. Again, a Bears squad that is really trying to make this step and prove that they're the best team in this division. But to be honest with you guys, I got to go with the Packers in this game, guys. They're just honestly a team that I see, again, especially Jordan Love pulling out this one at Soldier Field. They own the Bears over the past couple of years. This just feels like a game for me that they're going to figure out a way to win. Is it going to be close? Is it going to be ugly? Absolutely. But I'm going to see the Packers end up winning this one 23-20, regaining first place in the division and giving one thing more that the Rams don't have to worry about there. But that's all I have for you guys here. I hope you guys enjoyed both these games. They should both be pretty close and pretty fun. I'll see y'all for the recap of these tomorrow, as well as go check out the Sunday predictions, which should be coming out sometime on Saturday.
On 2nd and 4, Hurts looking to throw. Going end zone, Wentz Brown, it's there! Touchdown, Philadelphia! Flag in the end zone.